speaking of the treatment table, what about Labour now? Because I couldn't believe the news this morning where we're starting to hear that having had all this mood music saying that Rachel Reeves is going to raise income tax because she has to, she's now decided not to because it would have broken Labour's manifesto pledge. So today, according to the Financial Times, the Office for Budget Responsibility learned of this decision on Wednesday when she presented them with a package of major measures set to be announced on the 26th of November, which is Budget Day. This Budget Day is like a vampire's teeth coming down. It's been taking so long. But there have been fears the move would anger voters and Labour MPs, and it looks as if she's dropped it. I'm trying to read I don't get it, Jay, because we were told she didn't have a choice. She had to do it.
Yeah, and she said in a speech only last week, look, if I don't do this, we're going to have deep cuts into public services.
Just before you go on, let's just have a look at her saying that last week.
When I was appointed Chancellor, people put their faith in me to take our country forward. Not to be swayed by political convenience. Not to always do what is popular, but to do what is right. If we are to build the future of Britain together, we will all have to contribute to that effort. Each of us must do our bit.
So that was a weird moment anyway.
So what's changed since then? Well, there's a civil war which is being fought on the front pages of newspapers between Wes Streeting and Keir Starmer about who's going to be the next leader of the Labour Party. Labour backbenchers are terribly unhappy. You've got Lucy Powell, the deputy leader, coming out and saying it's unconscionable for the government to breach its manifesto. This is, I'm sorry to say, more to do with the civil war and internal politics in the Labour Party. I mean, I was in the Conservative government. It sort of brings back memories, frankly, than our economy. And that's bad for Britain, I'm sorry.
Well, Paula, it could be to do with her saying, we've learned in decades gone by that if you promise not to put taxes up and you then do, you are finished. And that is a golden rule.
Yeah. And, of course, we know that income tax, of course, penalises effort. And we have been told, haven't we, by the Labour government that they're not here to penalise the worker. So I have to, though, be honest with you. I appreciate that there is a lot going on in the background that I, as an ordinary person, don't understand.
Or care, you don't even have to care about it.
But I didn't hear her say that she was going to put... raise income tax. I didn't hear her say that, and so.
Well, can I tell you what the brief? Because we discussed this in the office. Is it fair to call this a U-turn if she didn't announce the policy? She didn't, but everyone was briefed. Clearly, we're going to have to put income tax up.
By her team.
Exactly. Everyone runs the story. They have ample opportunity to deny it.
Yes.
She even goes public and doesn't deny it. And now she's essentially briefed again. She's not doing it.
And this is my problem. So as the ordinary person on the street, I'm not hearing that, but I'm seeing that there's a lot going on in the background. There's a lot of stir in the pot happening. And I have some sympathy for Rachel Reeves. However, where my sympathy ends is that this confusion, this anxiety that is being created by all of this is just so unnecessary.
Well, in terms of all the bits and pieces, the other thing we learnt yesterday, again, briefing sources, all that stuff, is that they're not going to do the exit penalty for rich people because they were going to say, if you leave the country, you're going to have to give 20% of your cash away to the government. So they worked out that there'd be a massive outflow immediately. And then the second thing is a bit technical, but people set up what are called LLPs, which are freestanding limited companies, essentially. Where some doctors and lawyers do it, and she was going to close that and she's not going to.
But just help me, in terms of me being on the ground, so to speak, how is this helping me? How is this chatter helping me?
I'll tell you what it is. It's them, and I think they do, and Tories do this as well. It's like an opinion poll. Let's put it in the market. Put it in the Telegraph, see the reaction.
Yes.
And if it's a massive hoo-ha, they then say, we were never going to do that anyway. You know?
But the problem with that is, if that's what's happening, because of course we don't know, the problem with that is I am left thinking, do you have a clear policy?
Well, this is it. So do call us on this, 0207 862 2222. It's all very well going backwards and forwards behind the scenes here, but the question is, how's she going to fill this black hole she keeps talking about? And it can't just be the mansion tax, can it? I don't know. Does this mean that Labour is really howling out in the dark here. 0207 862 2222. Give us a call. We'll see you shortly. Before the break, we asked in British slang, how much is a monkey? Is it £25, £100, £500? Yeah, I didn't know this, £500. I've got a bit of explanation here. Let me just read this because I'm quite interested in this. The widely held belief is the terms came from soldiers returning to Britain from India. Old Indian rupee banknotes had animals on them, and the 500 rupee note had a monkey on it. Ooh. But it's just that people don't really use that phrase for that sum of money. I haven't even seen £500.
I was just going to say, did you see that?
We're live on 5 with Paula and Jake. Later we'll be joined by one of the thousands of doctors striking today over pay and job security. Very controversial, of course. Are they putting the NHS at risk, or is it absolutely justified? Your calls, please. Now, Rachel Reeves and this backwards and forwards thing. The reports this morning, she's decided not to put income tax up because we were being told off the record she was going to. 0207 862 2222. Had she raised the income tax rate by 2p, it could have got her 6 billion quid, coupled with a matching cut in national insurance, which they were thinking of doing. But then that's a weird one as well, because they were trying to spare workers and only affecting landlords and pensioners. So essentially, we're backwards and forwards. And this is what the Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, had to say about the rumours on Sky News this morning.
I've known the Chancellor well for 15 years now, and I can tell you that she is solely and fiercely focused on the challenges facing the country and doing what is in the best interests of the country. She's never been shy of facing people down in order to do that in opposition and in government. And over the course of the last few weeks, obviously, I've had some discussions with her and her team about measures in the budget that may affect my department, proposals that we're making, and discussions that ordinarily happen across government. And in every one of those discussions, it's been the public interest that she's completely focused on.
Right. I don't know quite what that all meant. But while we were talking during the break, I have to say Jake said something interesting, because I'd said to you they were thinking of bringing in a 20% tax if millionaires leave the country. This morning, the news is they've dropped that idea. You think they may have brought it back in?
It certainly was being reported as a possibility this morning in the Times.
What's that song about the hokey cokey? Carol in Kent, they're doing the hokey cokey.
Well, I like to see them do that, because their mouth is running away with lies, deceit. Do you
know what? Let's try and look at it charitably. They were burnt by the winter fuel allowance thing, which they just thought up on a Tuesday afternoon. Exactly. So now they're being really careful, and every idea they have, they do what's called flying a kite. They put it up there to see what the reaction is. Almost they're being over careful here.
Right. The first thing I want to say, which I really am angry about, is the pensioners. I'm a pensioner, okay? I listen to all the years I've lived on this earth for lies after lies when, somebody comes to MP. We've got a pot that we go in, okay? They give it out to other countries. Why are they doing that? Because if she says she's going to cut the tax, okay, who's going to fork out for that? She's going to put in something else that's going to raise.
I do see. So you're worried that your pension savings, which are banked with the state, are being paid out as foreign aid?
Yeah, but the thing being is...
Keep going.
Sorry, no.
Don't worry. It's all right.
Is right is £1 billion, yet hospital can't even get, any money for their patients, which is rightfully theirs.
They may be given money. Hang on, let me just go to Paul on that. This thing of...
But they have cut foreign aid, Jeremy.
They put it to the army, yeah.
They have cut foreign aid. So,
there's also
sadly, Carol's wrong when.
Do you dare to say the thing that the pensioners have got the triple lock and there's 1 in 4 pensioners are a millionaire? Do you want to put your head in the oven with that one?
I can put my head in the oven.
Go on, Paula's going to say it. Here we go.
I can put my head in the oven with that one, Carol, because, for the most part, pensioners are being well cared for by the state, for the most part. And those that fall between the cracks, there are other provisions for them which they can apply for, which will again support them. So, you know, in terms of pensioners, as opposed to our 21-year-olds, our 22-year-olds, you're doing pretty well on the whole, Carol.
Carol?
And they have cut foreign aid.
Okay, right. My argument is, okay, that last year, okay, and the year before and the year before that when I was on pension, I was getting my advance family paying for my pension. It's like a conveyor belt. So I get my pension from the pot, which I've earned hard money, day in and day out, okay? That's my money. It's not the government's, it's mine, yet the government says it's theirs. Where does it say it is theirs?
Let's leave it there, but thank you, because you've got so many calls. But thank you, Carol. Do take your point that if you see it as your money, then no one should touch it. Shirley in Lancashire, hi.
Oh, good morning, Jeremy.
Hi. We can't work out. It's like gone from being smoke signals to all sort of fumes of all sorts coming out of Downing Street. I don't know how to read it. I've got no idea.
I think that the majority of the British public have no idea at the moment. I'd just like to say I don't think Rachel Reeves is up to the job. She's yo-yoing. I'm really, really pleased to learn today that she has revoked on increasing income tax.
Okay.
Because for the average hard-working British person, that would make us all poorer if she increased our income tax. I feel this government is not fit for purpose at the moment. I've always voted Liberal and I voted Labour in the last election on two huge manifesto issues, which was not increasing taxes and stopping the illegal immigrants. Rachel Reeves could save £8 million a day. This government could save £8 million a day at the moment with the hotels.
Yeah. Well, Jake, I'll put that to Jake because that's his party's thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, they were elected on those two things and they've completely failed to deliver on either of them. I think that yes, we've got to get the hotels clear. In all fairness, the Prime Minister, he did say he was going to try and do it. I'm not sure I believe him. He said that in PMQs.
Yeah, but he said it by the end of his term.
On this thing on tax, I'm sorry, they have put tax up on people. They've increased, they've frozen the thresholds. I mean, tax is really complicated. Do you know how long our tax code is in this country?
Don't tell me, 500 pages.
24,000 pages of tax code in this country. So whether she puts 2p on income tax, increases national insurance like she did last time for employers, freezes thresholds so we all end up paying more, all we know is that the money is going to be taken from us somewhere. And that is why people are really concerned about this, and people. It doesn't matter how you dress it up. You have a certain amount in your salary to cover your mortgage, your car payments, your bills, everything that you got to pay a month. And if there's too much month and not enough salary, you feel the pain. And after this budget, I'm sorry to say, whatever they do, we are all just going to be feeling much more pain.
You can sense they're now scoping. They need a tax rise, and they've run out of places to put it, and so they're running out of time as well. So this is now really fascinating.
It is.
Really interesting. The budget is actually printed. I spent some time working in the Treasury. The budget's printed about 5 or 6 days before the budget itself, because they produce a book and all of the information. So with 2 weeks to go, they've probably got 5 or 6 days to have it finished. And at the moment, as it appears, we're on the outside, we can't see inside, it appears an absolute chaos.
We'll see. Maybe it's all a game of bluff. I don't know. But I mean, I hate to raise this, but Rachel Reeves is the Chancellor who burst into tears in the House of Commons, and that suggests she's under a lot of strain. Anthony in London.
Or in touch with her emotions.
Well, that's true.
Or just a massive crybaby.
Well, Anthony, what do you make of that? Criticism of Rachel Reeves.
I think it's all completely political bias and a little bit of misogyny against her as a woman. Because when George Osborne cut everything, there was never this speculation. I never saw anybody scrutinizing the Tories, what they're doing blow by blow. Any of the other chancellors, the male chancellor, I've never seen this. George Osborne studied modern history to become chancellor. They were doubting Rachel's economic, qualifications. Why weren't they talking about George Osborne? This is all bias.
That's a good point.
Because the Labour won the election, and the right-wing media are furious, and they're trying to do a death by 1,000 cuts.
Is it? And are we wrong to raise the moment Rachel Reeves burst into tears or was crying in the House of Commons? Are we wrong to mention that?
Yeah, but it wasn't about economics.
I don't know what it's about.
It was, yeah, but they said, they announced it was about family business.
Yeah, but if you're, look, if I'm running a train service and you come into my office and I'm crying at my desk, you would probably say, Mr. Vine, you shouldn't be running a train service. We're going to have a train crash if you run a train service in that state.
What's that got to do with the Tories quadrupling the national debt?
Paula.
The reality is, I would prefer somebody who was in touch with their feelings rather than have somebody who preferred to tell me that they were tough or that they were big or that they were aggressive or that they were angry or that they would employ somebody who went around wielding a chainsaw or a...
I thought we were heading towards Trump here. Yes,
well,
OK.
You know,
because Trump has never cried on camera as far as we know.
Well, as far as we know. But does that make you bad at your job? Absolutely not. And Anthony, you know, he hits the right points on everything that he has said. And that's why I was very careful to say that this was about communication for me. This was about comms. You know, I need Rachel Reeves, I need the Chancellor to show that she is in control of her department. I don't care who she is, I just need her to show she's in control.
Is it possible her nerve has gone? Because is it possible here she is dreading making a mistake with this budget because of what happened with the winter fuel allowance? So she's done backwards and forwards, try this, try that. None of it is working.
I mean, she wouldn't be a human being if she didn't feel that, would she?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
But you know, the point Anthony makes is, well, when George Osborne was doing this, wasn't there all this scrutiny? It is Rachel Reeves and the government and the Treasury that has created this scrutiny by doing this leaking of tidbits, making what appears to now be a completely unnecessary speech in Downing Street about why she has to put up taxes, didn't specifically mention income tax. No one made them do this. They did all of that themselves. That speech she made has never happened before. So you can't now say, well, you know, there's all these hairs running. Yes, because you set them running. And the real tragedy about this isn't just that we're all going to be paying more, is that if you look at the comments of the Governor of the Bank of England just last week, he said business confidence is lower now than after the chaotic Liz Truss budget. The housing market is completely depressed with people unable to buy or sell homes. And we have the same number of people unemployed now as we had during the absolute height of the COVID pandemic, because businesses are letting people go because of the uncertainty.
We're going to stop the discussion there only because we go to our next item, but I'm conscious this will be something that develops over the weekend. So I guarantee we'll be back on it on Monday. Thank you for your calls. After the break, we'll talk about striking doctors. Are they putting the NHS at risk? Thousands of them are walking out for 5 days from today over pay and job security. We'll speak to one, 0207 862 2222. See you shortly.